Okay, have we discussed transport business, chapter 3? I can't remember whether this one is already taught in previous class. Anybody can answer. Chapter 3, yeah, chapter 3. Sudah belum ni?
I think not yet, sir, because last week we learned about the haulage and the calculation.
Okay, good. Yes, no wonder. I still remember I give to group B. This one is assignment, number one assignment. Okay, I'm going to go through this one. So at the end of the chapter, I'm going to give you assignment number 1. Okay, road transport business, we have 3 objectives only. Yeah, to understand the technique of transport businesses. Number 2 is factor related to transport businesses, and the C is the concept of transport businesses. Okay, very simple. We have about 20 chapters, 20 slides. Yeah. Okay. What I'm going to discuss with you today is 4 things, yeah. On trucking, on buses, taxi, and limousines. Yeah, these 4 are actually the transport business normally we have in Malaysia. Yeah, and then furthermore, other than limousine, you have Grab at present moment. Yeah, Grabs. Yeah, the passenger Grab or food Grab. Yeah, is part of the uh, road transport businesses lah. And then other one is maybe you can see the postal, yeah, GNT, GDEC, yeah. What else? Yeah, that one also transport businesses. Yeah. Anything that relate on transport, carries goods and people are actually transport businesses. Yeah, and then they are actually main focus on these 4 categories lah. Yeah, in as far as road transport business are concerned. Okay. Remember? Okay, good. What else? I'm just to recall you, this one is business in transportation is actually intangible business. So we cannot touch, we cannot see the services, yeah, but you can see the material lah. But actually what we offer is selling services. Kalau orang kata what is transport businesses is actually you are actually doing services. What is transport business is actually you are doing services. You are selling services. It's very difficult to sell, unless you explain that accordingly and then rate them appropriate to the requirement, to the need of the passenger, then it's business. Example, good and passenger. Yeah, you're sending good and you say anything that you are sending good, maybe it's not related, not stated in this slide also. Anything that you think that one have the transaction between you and customer because you are selling your services, they only call it transport businesses, yeah, road transport businesses. And then number 1, number 2 is transport business is negotiator. Negotiator that you discuss, you calculate, you have meeting, you think, and then you make assumption, you have profit, and then sometimes you have loss. That one is business. Yeah? And then number 3, they kata forwarding agent in all modes is a business. Even though they are agents, for example, you are selling bus ticket, it's transport business lah. Or in bracket ulat ticket, it's the business in transportations. Or you open up booth for bus, you open up the agent for road rate, air, sea as a forwarding agents internationally. It's a business. Okay. Kalau forwarding agent, this one is more actually more than one mode lah. Yeah. And it's not only one particular mode only forwarding agents. So one of these day, if you got no job, waiting for the permanent job, you working as a forwarding agent. Yeah. So forwarding agent is agent lah. Brokers for transportation services. That means you can discuss with haulage, you can discuss with trucking, you can discuss with air transport, sea transport, rail, and so on to move the third-party goods. Forwarding agent punya job lah. How? Through land, rail, air pipeline routes. Yeah, they are actually used. That one is considered road transportation lah. But what we are going to focus on is on the road lah. Yeah. Where any place in the world. Any place in the world, when you're working in UK, US, Australia, they are doing the same thing. Only the documentation different, but the system are actually the same. Yeah. Itu sebab kita nak belajar konsep dulu. How to understand the concept first, then we relate to what actually transport business all about. These are actually relate to businesses in the world in transportation. Yeah. What method? Method in transport business is actually we have transport operator or you're working under transport operators. For example, you're working in haulage industries, trucking, bus industries, limousine industries, hotel industry, and so on and so forth. They are, we call it transport operators. Yeah. Transport, the owner who operate the transportation for the service. We call it transport operator. Yeah. And then, of course, under the transport computer, is one is they have human, they have capital there. Okay. Kalau transport operator, mesti ada orang, mesti ada wang untuk diniagakan, human and capital. Number two, we need to have mode. Mode is cara, technique how to go all about. If you're dealing with road alone, that means road lah kan. Kalau you're dealing with forwarding agent, that one is you are actually acted on behalf of your client, for example, factory. Maybe maybe you are using more than one mode, road, land, sea, air pipeline, all those things. Okay. Number three, we need to have the operational activity, how to assign, how to calculate, how to make money, how to make all these things, structure and so on, and to how to discuss with the customer the rate and everything and accepted, and then you perform the job, and then they are actually operation. In the operation, you have input, process, output lah, and then the technique how to handle that to make sure that from nowhere it cannot be seen your services, and then you can see the money flow from nowhere, and then you got something in term of physical. The physical money lah, you can be seen lah, physical that one is services, and then the services is based on what your standard of the services lah, in order to make sure that your customer are actually follow the requirement. At the end of the day, you got profit on that. Okay. And then number four, need to have at least market. Market. Kalau market tak ada, you cannot do anything. So from time to time, even though you have already existing market, for example, 100 customer under you, from time to time, you have to market yourself, make 110, 115, and at the same time, you have to maintain the customer. We call it customer retention. Because customer you stay with you for the longer period of time, that means you can survive lah. And then you can serve you well, and at the same you can maintain your in term of revenue and profitability. So at last, the final one is profit lah. Revenue and profit, revenue and profit. Of course, when you're doing a transport businesses, of course, at the end we want profit. Bukan maknanya kita just purchase that thing, and then at the end park there without any movement. So at the same time, when closing the account, no profit, tak boleh. So better don't do kalau. So in transportation business, for example, in bracket road transport, so once you discuss, once you do, you assign, you perform, you meet customer, you market the thing, and then you have a final transaction lah on that particular day. For example, this is our money that you're going to obtain from the customer. Maybe customer in that hutang kan, put it in account. Tapi that one is money lah. That one is tangible lah, considered tangible lah. Yeah. You are transforming from intangible to tangible. Benda yang tak boleh dilihat, sehingga you hasilnya boleh dilihat. Cannot be seen before, and then in the final part can be seen in terms of monetary money and so on and so on. And then you transform it, or you purchase a capital, you purchase the thing that are required for the operational activities, yeah. And then you pay your staff, your workers, wages, yeah, salary, bonuses, overtime and so on. This one is a physical one, yeah, profit. Kalau tak ada profit macam mana? That one is a business, but it's not a good business. So what else other than profit? Indirectly, you are actually helping government to grow lah, yeah? By doing the GDP, gross domestic product, very good, and also GNP, yeah? National product for import and export activities, yeah? Jadi, transportation sector is considered right arm in the economic development in any countries. That's why if we fail or slow to develop in transportation system requirement, that particular country, that country become third world country. Yeah. So one of these days maybe become minister, YB, you have become a consultant in transportation. Yeah. So you should be able to develop transportation more and more better in order to get a smooth flow of the passenger and also goods. Yeah, the most important thing is good and passenger. They got equal important on that. Yeah. These are actually the thing that need to be considered in the future, so that from time to time our transportation industry, transportation services, regardless they want the government or non-government, business or business, are actually goods. Yeah. Okay. That one need involvement with all parties lah. It's not only you as transport industry, but government also involved, public also involved, school, university to study that thing for future improvement. You cannot just take for the services rendered by transport sector, but you have to develop lah things, study like this. That's why people asking why you study transport for what? The transport already there. Dia tak faham So from time to time you improve. And then you have to think the important expectations for the economic development, businesses, carriers, yeah, and so on and so forth. Important lah. Yeah. Alright. So what else? Okay, ini sudah bincang tadi. Dalam operational process, we said input, process, output, and from time to time, we are actually monitored by government regulatory bodies. Yeah. Okay. They got system, they got assignment, they got invoice, they got all these are actually inside the operational activities for day-to-day in transportation sector, which is you have to master on this thing lah when you join in. In the class, maybe you got 60% your understanding, but you go on the ground maybe 1 or 2 month time. 6 months, I give you 6 months, you should be able to adapt that thing to the best way how to handle the operational function in transportation sector. Semua sama you're working in the postal also sama, Post Malaysia for example, transport, and then haulage industry also like that. Trucking industry also that, lorry ice pun, limousine industry also like that. They are actually the processes that you have to being to improve on your company for the betterment in future, right? Koyak unggul lah, company lah, Okay, what else? This is the place I work before lah. I came to show you, Ini tempat saya bekerja dulu lah. Gambar ni pun saya sudah beritahu, sudah tunjuk ni. So just want to recall back, this is the place that I work before lah. Very aggressive, working 24 hours, We have this prime mover, kepala, we have prime mover and trailers only. And the container is belong to third party. Yeah, this one the container is belong to shipping agent. Yeah, shipping agent. The only owned by haulage or trucking company is prime mover and also trailer. I maintain this for 150 vehicle at one particular time and 700 trailers. Yeah, at one time I monitor this. Very difficult because they are actually working in shift 24 hours. And those days during 2000, 1990s and above, 90s, 2000, yeah, the movements of the container very heavy. Yeah? And then, in fact, the seaport also operated 24 hours. So we have to support as required by the government. As required by the government and as required by the customer sending goods for import and export activities using a container, either 20 footer or 50 footer. This one. Bus industry tak payahlah. Akan masuk taxi limousine like before. Okay, what else we have here? Yeah. On the organization in transportation sector. If you work under transport organization one day, they got 10 to 15 department there. Not only you working, maybe other people qualification working there. For example, the accounting. Accountant, we have accountant. If big company like you get accountant there. We have HR there, human resource. We have marketing and sale. Your position here as a transporter, and we have degree in transportations. Your position here, marketing and sale. You are actually selling goods lah. Your good is services, yeah. Selling business, goods, services to the customer and managing relationship between you, your company and customer. And then ada marketing and sale. We have marketing department also. We have sale department also. Maybe you appointed executive lah. First job, I'm sure if first job you join the transport industries, people give you marketing and sale. Okay. To get to find and to get close with the customer, existing customer or new customer, and then the process the marketing technique, under 4P, 7P technique, product promotion, place, price, and so on. Physical evidence. After this, you study. Yeah. And then you have to sell yourself. Whether you can communicate or not, maybe your senior will advise you. And then, of course, when you understand in the class accordingly, and then your senior in the organization will advise you less lah. You can go more and more at one particular time. This is marketing and sale that required for you to study from the class and the book as well, so that you have to excel in future in terms of services and transport industry. Okay, I'm sure you're very happy lah. You working is marketing and sale. Yeah? And this is your place. Yeah. Okay, what else? Your place. Yeah. This one is really your place because you know the technique how to handle the operational activity at one particular time, so that you should be able to market yourself, and then you know how the basic thing on the marketing and sale before that, right? Of course, the your manager may position you to the operation department as operational officers or executive there to handle the whole movement of the movement of the vehicle at one particular time. And then you might be working in shift, 8 to 4, 4 to 11, and so on and so on. That one is normal in transport industry because our requirement by MOT is to open up the industry, the services for 24 hours. You have to obey also the requirement in order for you to start in the market. Yeah. And then operations department is the most important. It's considered hard lah. Without operation, that one tak boleh cari makan lah. That one is the place that SBU, the most important SBU, section business unit, is considered heart of the company. You are actually making money, day-to-day activities. Very heavy. Mostly bergaduh pun di situ, ya. And then suara keras pun di situ, instructor di situ. But now they less because normally driver are actually computer literate. They study how know how to handle the system using handset. And those days, because those days going using radio. But now still have radio, but it's not that important like before lah, because communication now, a system now in hand, install, and then you can go and see sending good to the customer with right manner, time, and so on, and instructed through the system, mobile system, through the handphone. Okay. And then other operation, we call it, we got production lah. Production. Maknanya you are actually in transport industry, tak kira production Tapi kalau factory, dia kira production. Tetapi in the operation activities, they call it operations officers lah. They are actually doing a production. Kalau factory, they got this considered use the services. Dalam yang ini pun you for the longer period of time, you have to serve them well, communicate them, get latest information on what actually required, and then to make sure that your driver are actually functioning well, send on time, safe delivery, and then acknowledge at one particular end have to acknowledge. Dia ni bukan, it's not one-to-one customer. Sometimes customer got 3 TOs a day, sometimes got 50 TOs a day, sometimes got 100 TOs a day. So it's therefore, so have to maintain it accordingly lah, because the money revenue is there already. It's not that difficult, but quite difficult, because now is considered in transport company is considered competitive business. We got the same nature of business handled by other company. Okay. All right. What else I think here? The other procurement department, think that to explain the thing, to improve, to assist the organization to grow. Procurement purchasing, kalau di situ kan, procurement you MOU with the customer is procurement. Sometimes we call it strategic sourcing. Strategic sourcing to make sure that you can make sure that company are doing well, with the necessary to make sure that they are actually helping the operation department to grow, to perform the job, because the customer, the operation are actually close to the customer. Got sale there, they got marketing close, so we are actually helping them. Procurement. And then the final one, second panel, research development, R&D also have. You also lah, if you more than 10 years working in transport sector, and then people will transfer to R&D lah, because you know better on operational, you know better in marketing, sale, and so on. You are actually considered senior there lah. Develop, how to develop, and part of that, they also doing a marketing, how to make the services good, better and better, faster and faster, safer and safer, with the cheaper operational costs. Kalau you produce cheaper operational cost, that means at the same time you can reduce the price of the movement, and then the customer will enjoy, benefited with the lower transportation cost. R&D lah. And then ada IT, information technology, normally expert in IT lah, computer degree and so on. They are actually monitoring all the system. They ada system, they ada haulage system, they ada operation system, they ada marketing system, they ada account system, they ada warehouse management system. All system is actually under the technology. And before that using manual kan, computer, printing, everything. But now using the system, when we want the CEO want a report on what day, they can come up, and can be seen on the system. So anything that movement on the road also, they can pin on the system, the venue, and then the bill come up. So that particular deal, so they can see, can print up. Ataupun kalau dia tak nak print up, we can see straight away the computer screen, and then the CEO can monitor day to day in the office. It's not like before. Now, very improvement is very good. System there ready to tell you the present capacity, the present strength, the present movement, and so on. And so of course, with the system that normally we have adopted in transportation sector. Yeah. And then the final one is communication, public relation. Of course, with the biggest one, normally this one is good lah. Yeah, you need to have at least people can communicate with other. For example, you want to advertise the new thing, you want to promote the new thing. Yeah, halal product ke, those thing kan. Dia punya PR punya responsibility lah. And then you have to want to communicate further with the higher formation in road transport department, Ministry of Transport, public relation and communication. And then you want to make the civil suit, for example, customer tak bayar. Ni public relation lah. They ada law department there, so want to make statement in the paper, for example, or advertise the thing, so need to have at least this communication, department on that. Okay. Ada lagi, okay. Admin. Admin is my place before lah. Admin, so I'm doing admin also, but not HR lah, admin, everything that required because we have extra manpower. So I'm quite senior there. People put me in the admin. Rest for a while. It's not that difficult. Just support the department. For example, using the HR department lah. We supported HR department for purchasing the thing. They got the same like a common lah, tapi more on the local internal part of it. Gaji, payroll, and at the same time dia punya uniform, kasut dan sebagainya, so all those things lah, cuti, and then anything that moral for the staff and so on will be taken over by admin punya executive lah, that, safety, security, the admin lah, right. And then internal audits. Internal audit doesn't mean that you are actually account based. You also can be account auditor. Internal activities, just to check whether the transaction at one particular time before are actually taking into account, put the ledger, letting part. You want to see whether you are actually in one particular time, you are actually weight something, profitable or not. So, audit lah. Audit macam audit lah, internal audit lah. Normally accountant lah. But you also can be the internal audit in transport. That's mestinya accountant. Tapi accountant much better lah. And the head of the internal audit is normally for accountant based lah. The rest is very lah. Daripada transport, daripada computer also have, daripada internal audit, doing things that requirement and so on for the purpose of improvement. Because all this while the work in transport industry on the orang kata term of accounting financial is actually accountant punya responsibility lah. Yes. But you have to check with from time to time regarding documentation and so on and so forth. Okay, management, you also one of the management. And then if you got good in terms of your productivity lah, people will pull you to become a manager, assistant manager, higher post lah to monitor the overall function of that organization. Okay. So other than that, engineering also you can be the engineer lah. Tetapi it's not qualified as required by an engineer lah. You got degree in engineering lah. You got degree in transportation, more on operational. Tetapi kalau people tak ada, you can be engineer also. Because in transport syllabus, I already planned for 3 automotive punya syllabus, which is at least you can survive lah. While waiting for the engineer to come, you can survive, can manage the requirement for the engineering for maintenance requirement. Apart from that, under the engineering department, they said they got senior mechanic supervisor, they can assist you. So you acted as a boss and manage that thing where that's all. And you can survive lah. Tapi tak proper as you have a degree lah in automotive and so on. Right. Okay. Kalau manpower ni is done by human resource. So saya tak payah explain at length because this one is the function of human resource. Because you study human resource in the human resource department before the program. I'm sure in any transport organization they got similar function. Any type of organization, you working in a factory, working in a seaport, airport, you're working in any organization, University Utara Malaysia, dia ada similar function in human resource. You go and through all these things in the book, you can find lah. Okay. So the most important thing that if you work under company or one day if you want to set up the company in transport company, these are actually the 10 matter need to be considered. Pertama sekali you need to have at least a company. Company mesti ada sekian bahat. Dia ada paid up capital and so on. Please take note that you want to operate one small company, 5 lorry and 30 trailers take about 5 million ringgit. Set up the smallest company kan. Think that we can say company lah. 1 or 2 vehicle can say company. But you just kalau nak buat company yang kecil, at least you need to have at least 5 vehicle and 1:7 kan, 35 trailers. Kalau haulage, kalau trucking open top pun macam tu juga. That one is ratio given by the CVLB, Commercial Vehicle Licensing Board. Number 1. Number 2, apply the licensing lah. We call it, you can get this from CVLB. And then those stay under Minister of Level 1 now, straightway reported under Ministry of Transport, CVLB. And then number 3, you need to have at least capital investment. If you cannot purchase, you own something from the finance agency, maybe you can obtain to make sure that you have to kata base calculation able for you to pay the finance, installment and so forth. At the same time, you can service the customer well. Jangan tengah-tengah jalan orang tarik susah lah kan. Enough capital in hand also, in future also, Okay, number 4 dia kata purchase machinery. What type of machine do you have? You want to have at least haulage industries, trucking industries, purchase lah. And then the thing that additional part of it in order to assist the movement, business, in terms of material requirement, macam you kena ada forklift, you ada kena ada conveyor and so on. You have to think about it, Mesti ada workshop, bill repair maintenance, ya. Okay. Thing that required for the functions of the services is going to be rendered to your customer. Sure. Number 5 dia kata setting up depo. Depo Depo ni kawasan lapang lah. Depo cordon. And then same time you position your place, your lorry, your machinery, your workshop, your department, your warehouse, your yard there to store your kedai dia lah. And then also very costly because when you operated just near the industrial area, of course, the land of the place is very expensive. Either you rent or you purchase, up to your capacity. They got place there for you to start with, And then the most important thing that you can place your heavy vehicle there lah. You tak boleh orang kata put merata, You have to save somewhere, keep somewhere. Because this one is requirement by the MOT on that to make sure that your vehicle expensive, you cannot put that beside the road and cause other party accident and so on. You have to place some in particular place, and then at the same time you can monitor, and also your office, your people also there for them to work lah. It's not operational work. Also, they are doing things other department as well as they can monitor and helps the transport industry movement in that particular day time. Okay, number 5, dia kata shopping, setting office, workshop B, control office, safety, security, other office required based on the capacity of quantity of the number of manpower at one particular time. These are the things that required for you to understand proper lah. Okay, setting office, workshop, If you are working in one, that one is already established. Tapi benda ni pun kita tengok juga lah. Whether that one is safety, security, helping the operational to move their vehicle at one particular time. Okay, number 7, number 9, 2, 4, 6, 7. Okay, number 8, number 7 is manpower planning. Manpower planning is human resource function. If you are a small company, you want to set up that thing, you are acted on behalf of operation, you acted on behalf of accounting, HR, you manpower planning lah. How many people. And normally people are actually based on the number of people they have. The personnel to be working is driver lah. Driver, expert driver and so on. And then for the small one, you also can be acted as manager, executive. You said you can go around and monitor them if you know the technique how to handle them. Jadi dalam operation activity in transport sector is very complex. So you have to one particular time understand the whole concept and business in transport industry. And then the final one is marketing. Okay. Before that, before you purchase everything, develop all the job, everything lesson, you have to do marketing first. You assumption how many vehicle, how many customer they're going to obtain. And then at the same time, okay, you anticipate. If I purchase the vehicle, I set up a company. Oh, my customer, potential customer will be with us, with me to, so I can serve them well, so I can get revenue from them. Macam assumption and so on. Assumption, calculation, brainstorming, meeting with people, simply by have a machinery, office and so on. And then at the same time, marketing tak ada. Your customer tak ada. So very difficult. Okay, this one is the 8th thing. 8 matter you have to consider in while you preparing a new company. If you work under a company already established, no problem. If you just discuss with your friend to set up the thing, that one is very important, informative for you to start with lah. Okay. Okay, marketing. Dalam marketing, it's very important in marketing because I take this one subject in marketing in this, because I think that this one is very important for you to start. If you work or you want to set up your company one day, the marketing is very important. So what we have in marketing, yang ni intangible product, services is tangible product, so cannot be seen. So the most important thing that you have to visualize on what actually we have in order for the customer to understand better lah. Normally when you market this thing, you have to explain to them, in transport, kita tak boleh orang kata go to the newspaper and publish that one. The customer, potential customer, they want to take you. What are we going to discuss here today is technique of marketing. We have all together here 7P. At the bottom there, we have 7P. Apa yang ada P ni? Normal, ordinary one we have in the marketing, you get 4P. 4P, product, price, place, promotion. Already explained during your marketing time. You take subject in marketing. But in transport industry, we have additional 3Ps. What 3Ps did they have? They kata people, they kata physical evidence, they kata process. Remember? So product, price, place, promotion, people, physical evidence, and process. Okay, ini adalah 7P. So you can go to the book that you have now. They got another chapter in marketing. They got a very good explanation there. Let me check with you. Yeah. The other in chapter 15 nanti kita akan pergi at the middle of the class semester, we can discuss about 7P all about. These are the things that need to be done. So dalam business transportation ni, they have extraordinary requirement in marketing. Instead of 4P that you study in marketing, we add another 3P that year. You kena baca ni chapter 15 in the book, one day. So other thing that required for you to understand in opening up, in opening the transport business, in setting up transport business one day, these are the things that need to be done. You make it as a checklist checklist, prior, present, after, before, present, after. All those things to make checklist before you start the business. If you work under organization one day, already established organization, it's okay, no problem. But you plan to JV with somebody else one day, you open up, you need to have at least the step what to do. Okay, number one, the place of business. Place is very important. You have to find a strategic place which is near to the customer, near to the port, seaport, and so on, which is you can save your transportation costs. So even the cost is paid by the customer, so you are actually indirectly helping the customer to save their jauh kan, cost dia tinggi charge kan, even though every moment is paid by the customer. So based on the win-win situation between you and customer kan, so you have their transportation cost also, because end product is very important. So end product, they also have, your customer also have their own customer. So end product, and then customer also selling that thing, make sure it go to the public, and then the final part is public lah, whether they got cheap cost in term of material. Ni ada interrelated between transportation costs, because one apple in Kedah as compared to one apple in mana where Greek different Kedah, just because that's nearest here, and then one apple in Butterworth is different. cost of transportation cost. Which one? Apple import kan? Import. You import from port just to the nearest distribution. Batu for example. Dia dekat dengan port. Cheaper lah. Kalau hantar Sungai Petani, little bit expensive. Send to situ, little bit expensive by 1 or 2 cent. Macam itulah cerita dia. Transportation cost different. Compare. If you manufactured here, for example, you make TV here at Sungai Petani, got one factory, manufacturing TV, and then for export to Singapore, price. Export to Australia, different price. Export to India, different. All those things, is transportation cost are different, kan? Or you want to produce your goods from here for local export, for local distribution. You manufacture the Sungai Petani, you sell the area Sungai Petani, like this much. You sell the area the same product, you sell it in JB, for example. Different product, different price. The different is transportation. And sometimes the manufacturer absorb the different kan. That one's cost lah. If you can save the transportation cost as you charge the customer, that means you are actually good transporter lah. Win-win lah. So we can stay you and customer with a longer period of time. Okay. Okay, number one. Number two, capital investment, break-even point, you have to study. Berapa lama nak balik modal? Break-even point lah. So you yourself, your colleague, you study lah. Yeah. Okay, number three is capacity required. Capacity is machine lah. Machine, lorry, capacity lah. Orang, manpower, tidak. Okay, number four is manpower. Capacity is something machine. Capacity lah. Yeah. Number four, manpower. Berapa orang nak pakai. Enough for us to recruit 4 staff, for example. You have to determine for staff, make sure they can work. Their job description, instruction, so there. So you have to handle yourself better. And then the last is survey, market survey, competition market share. Market share ni is considered one cake lah, market share ni. Like one cake you share to everybody, market share. For example, at one particular time, Penang lah, Butterworth. Port Butterworth, we have import-export is considered 2 million TEUs a year. Tahu TEUs kan? One container, one TEU, 2 container, 2 TEUs. 2 million TEUs a year. So, the division, the market share ni, dia kata, the market is 2 million TEUs. So with 2 million TEUs is shared by 100 transporter. Jadi, satu transporter lebih kurang dapat 200,000. Yeah. Itu share. Some, if you have a big quantity of capacity, sometimes you have 300,000 TEUs a year. Sometimes you got 100,000 based on your capacity and quantity of your fuel lah. Ini dinamakan market share. So you got smaller company, maybe you have 100,000 TEUs movement a day, handled by a company, for example, right? So share. So how to go or to fight to get extra market share is based on your capacity and technique how to handle it. That can fight. Your services better, group B, Syarikat B, not good, better, less. Even they got the same capacity, but they got malas dan sebagainya. All those things. Ini market share. Okay, business contact communication, if you have, they are promised, willing to take you, and then you have to communicate with them well, yeah. So from time to time, your admin part is very important. Your staff can do job, perform well, the requirement, the good thing, the material need to be furnished to them in order for them to perform job. For example, the thing lah, the quality, the orang kata systematic way, the tool, and then the thing that required to help them to move services. Yeah. And then operational part, dah belajar dah. Economic study, also economic study, if economic good, you can perform well. Business strategy, you need to have well, and then business planning, of course, yeah. Okay, ini CVLB, you have to read from the book, also got write up this one. No need to discuss. And then the most important thing, that this is a policy. This is the policy given by the government to a transport industry. Rule lah, policy and rule regulation. So you can find this, you can find this in the transport office ataupun in picture if you open up a new office. These 4 documents need to be kept. Road Transport Act, 1987. You can see here. Perhaps also can print from the web, the acts here are written. Otherwise, you can purchase this one physically also. It's very important as a reference in future. Number 1. Number 2, they got the page road transport vehicle, commercial transport 1959. That one from time to time they improve lah. Yang terbaru 1990, 1990. Tapi they are using transport commercial 1959. Yeah. Bukan tak boleh pakai, tapi because the term is previous, tapi they got amendment. Like what actually page 3 to 3 is actually related to our rate in polish in transportation, which is we're going to discuss the next slide lah. Rate calculation lah this one. And then number 3 ada CVLB board, ada dia. And then number 4 dia kata sekarang ni under requirement, and before that under JPJ, they are actually related. The Puspacom actually the right arm. The JPJ is government, the Puspacom is private. Actually, before they given to Puspacom to look into the safety, like anything that you want to. Puspacom, I think that these are actually the additional requirement. Three office kan atau pin. Read this one lah, This one is under the CVLB punya requirement. Dia kata thing that already advised by the government for the industry to follow. Tak payah explain lagi because you have to read from the book also can get this one. Very simple one. Okay, additional part fit other than road transport department regulation, and then ada satu department they are actually important at present moment due to the environment problem, due to the additional increase of the commercial vehicle at one particular time. What is that? They got the Road Transport, the Environment Act 1967. Jabatan Alam Sekitar, they are working using this act lah. Sometimes you can see on the road, the Jabatan Alam Sekitar, Environmental Department will check the asap lah, exhaust manifold. Yeah, how many percent content of the black smoke there, especially on the vehicle emission. One is checked by the Environment Act 1967. You can be compounded, lah, ya. RM400, RM500 because of ini good juga. Sometimes the operation take lightly toward the maintenance of the vehicle and caused by black smoke banyak. Vehicle emission very bad. Bad for environment and public also. Yeah. Kalau you have a proper maintenance to your vehicle, akan dapat lah. Jadi asap tu akan bersih lah. Yeah. And then the DG, DGJ. One of the business in transport industry is carried DG. Dangerous good. The dangerous good cost is 1.5 price rate. Because there are risks. Yeah, you need to have at least a special drivers and then special attention, escort. Sometimes you have to call police. Extraordinary job lah. That's why DG. DG also at one particular time monitored by the Environmental Department. Malaysia. And then the last one, the number 3 is schedule waste. Schedule waste ni macam alat buang alat berbahaya schedule waste tu. Macam kita buat benda-benda toksik, apa semua nak buang kan. Kita ada tempat nak buang. That one is monitored by Jabatan Alam Sekitar. Yeah. Okay, the best, the regulatory requirement, regulatory bodies. So day-to-day activities normally they are actually monitored by Road Transport Department, and then police, RTD bodies, and then the Environmental Department. 3 department yang monitor day-to-day activities to our movement on the roads in the transport industry. Ni kena faham They are actually acted under their different act. So you have to follow this lah. Other than that, it's just of what actually involved indirectly. Is actually other than CVLB untuk permit extension, and then we have MITI, Ministry of Skill, Ministry of International Trade. They approve permit. Dapat AP import. It's not your responsibility, but the importer, exporter responsibility to get the permit from them. Your job as a transporter just to transport, but the extra permit is obtained by the importer lah, or exporter. Importer. Ya. Jadi kalau nak import kayu daripada luar, dia ada medium skill minister dulu kan. And then kalau kita nak import animal, daging sejuk beku, for example, for import, agriculture minister. Okay, additional to Road Transport Rule 97 is part of it is from 90 Road Transport Rule 1959 lah. This one. So can have the write up on the book also lah. So the requirement of vehicle drivers, you have to understand it. Vehicle driver is considered professional. They have obtained license expensive, about 2,000 or 3,000 to obtain this. Ringgit. And then you need to have at least GLE, good license. GDL, lesen kenderaan dagangan. E, kalau trailer, bersendi. Lesen bersendi. Kalau katakan trucking biasa, lesen berkejur, tegak. There are different two type of licensing. License for driver to obtain. Jangan ambil silap pula. Kalau you nak buat trailers, mesti lesen dia bersendi. Kalau dia nak ambil lesen nak bawa lori tegak kargo, lesen dia berkejur tegak. Okay. And understand the higher code, speed limit, accident procedure. They got one accident procedure. I set one slide for you. Is that one is purpose. It's not because of industry itself, but your personal punya one day. If you think nobody know that you involve accident, these are the processes that need to be done. Nanti kita ada satu slide on this one. It's very important, yeah. And then the DG procedure, that is goods, yeah. Start juga, and also from time to time, yeah, have to expose our driver to become defensive driving skill. So driver, they actually drove their vehicle on the road. They have to look after the public also, and the public use motorists because they're big size of lorry on the road, kan. So they have to carefully look after other motorists also. Because if they involve in accident, sure die one. So from time to time, so you as an officer there, you have to talk on the safety lah. Go through on this thing and communicate to your driver well. Advise them, even though that they already knew, but you have to make it statement again and again to make sure they are actually doing things better lah. Especially we are actually impose on safety measure during the movement. Kalau dekat compound kita tak ada masalah. During the movement, when involve, when see that the motorist or public, that one is very important. Dalam defensive driving, you have to discuss on that. Yeah. So in business also, we have to study on what actually we have understanding on the term lah. Yeah. Macam long haul, capital cost, operating cost. Yeah. The thing that related to the cost, and I'm going to explain you later on this thing when it come to calculation piece. Yeah. All right. What else? Transport planning, of course, in the operation activity, need to have transport planning. So you, from time to time, you have to understand this thing. So several things need to be considered in transport planning. Transport planning operation lah, yeah. Right. Okay, itu saja. Okay, this one is the question. This one is your first assignment. Yeah. First assignment. Process. We have altogether 5 questions, make it into one. Simple assignment. Yeah. Whatever thing that I discussed just now, and then you can refer to the book as extraordinary information. Yeah. And maybe my book is not enough for you to go. You can also got the references from other Google, internet, and so on. But you need to have reference at the back there. Yeah. Okay, dia punya layout of your assignment, yeah. Muka depan, front page, normal lah, normal assignment, assignment 1. And then second page, the question, you have to write the question and then you write lah. And then this one is an essay, yeah, an essay. So you can mix between essay and point form. So the point form, you have to explain it lah, simple. And then the length of everything is about not much. For example, question A, half page. Half page. B, every question half page only lah. You explain lah half page. The more the better. Minimum 2.5 pages lah. 1A, B, C, D, E, 2.5 pages. Okay. And then these are actually the standard that you have in the final examination. Maybe this question come up, maybe no, right? Tapi this one is I want to see you your writing part of it lah. So in my class, I encourage you to do the write up, yeah. Essay write up, yeah. Essay write up, everything that write up. Yeah. Answer lah the thing. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, habis and put your name there, contact number, group. As you practice doing the assignment. This one is the assignment number 1. You can refer to the slide. ataupun you can refer to the book, yeah. Book also written there lah. So I take out this from the book. 2.5 pages for 5 questions. 2.5 pages only. Tak payah macam ada sampai 30 pages apa tidak. This one is just a question as assignment. Okay. Minimum 2.5, yeah. Minimum 2.5 for 5 questions. I repeat, yeah. Minimum 2.5 for 5 questions. Every question A, B, C dan E half page. Half page, ya. Right.
Doktor,
Setengah
tak
muka surat.
nampak soalan. Penuh. Soalan tak nampak.
Apa dia?
Soalan E. Boleh ke bawah?
Soalan E tak nampak.
Ha.
Sekejap ya. Oh, daripada tadi tak nampak lah ni.
Ya, ya.
Maksud tak apa.
Tak adalah, doktor. Kita orang kena zoom out sendiri. Siapa tadi minta? Dekat
Tak
tepi.
nampak eh?
Tak tak.
Boleh ke? Kena zoom out ke?
Kena zoom out.
Okay,
Kena zoom out sendiri.
Boleh, boleh.
Ni nampak?
Nampak.
Nampak je, doktor.
Kalau tak nampak tu dah dekat lah tu. Ucap siap-siap tu. Okey, nampak eh? Nampak eh? Ini soalan. Kalau you pakai komputer nampak lah. Pakai handphone tak nampak lah. Nampak? Siapa
Nampak.
yang pakai komputer?
Doktor,
Nampak? Ya.
Doktor, bila deadline of this assignment?
Okay, deadline is a good news and happy for you. So you have to keep it until the final examination you send. That's all. Faham?
Yes, thank you, Doctor.
Nanti you exam nanti nak submit, you submit sekali assignment 1, assignment 2. Kalau ada assignment extra nanti 2, 3 kan, you submit sekali. Okay? I promise to you to give you 2 assignment kan? 1 and 2 kan? Cukup lah.
Yes. Thank you, Doctor.
Tak apa susahkan belajar. Okay? Okay. Sekarang ni you bekerja di rumah senang ya. So since student they want to make until last minute. Nanti dekat-dekat nak hantar pun nak buat kan. Nanti you terlupa, tak akan ulang lagi lah. So better for you to do it now and then you keep it somewhere. Nanti kalau dah exam, assignment tu, buat lagi. You keep it. And then the final one nanti, kalau exam habis semester nanti, you hantar 1, 2 sekali dengan you punya examination punya script. Habis. Tak mau banyak because I don't want you to send online because traffic jam lah in my computer. Okay. Send manually together with your final script nanti to my address given letter. To be given letter. Happy tak? I'm sure you happy lah.
Yes, happy.
Happy, Doctor.
I want you to be happy also. You jangan kerja-kerja ni nak buat semua nak buat kan. Even though we are actually doing on time, online, tapi kena buat jugalah kerja sikit-sikit. Jangan sampai dia punya fokus tu lari pembelajaran tu. Anybody from overseas here? Nigeria, Uganda, Chad, anybody? Semua Malaysian ya? So I want you to answer in English ya. Not Malay ya. Because our language in transport industry is actually language English. So siapa yang tak fasih bahasa Inggeris, cubalah. Buat.
Doktor.
Even your grammatical error rosak sikit pun tak ada masalah. At least you bercuba sesuatu. That's why I advise you to practice writing. Right? Practice writing. So in order for you to master in future, one of these days. So I got problem in communication English before juga. Tapi bila masuk industri, before that, I'm working in the government, all Malay, using Malay nothing. When I join industry, all English, I find very difficult, tension and so on and so forth. I had to attend various classes in English, correct back the grammatical error requirement and so on. And then how to write up the paper, letter to public, letter to customer, and so on. Using English, not Malay. So which therefore, while you are here in University Utara Malaysia study, so you practice English, especially in the essay. And then my class, English, campur-campur Malay, but I encourage you to write in English, yeah. Yang final exam pun English, and then your essay also in English. So at least you get little bit improvement lah in terms of communication, writing part of it, English, and so on. Okay. Lagi?
Doctor, is it mean our assignment handwritten and post to doctor with the final
Yes,
exam?
you post me with final exam. Yeah. So you have to do early and keep it somewhere in the shelf. And then when come to final exam, nanti assignment 1, assignment 2, and final skill examination, you have to send to my address to be given letter. Yeah. Itu saja. So you have to, orang kata, spend little bit money lah for postal lah, RM3 ke, RM7 ke kan. And then when you during your sending, you can share, no problem. That one you can share. Book cannot share, yeah. Book because it has special, orang kata, indicator there, safe monitoring. Those who buy, those who not, kan. Siapa yang beli buku, kita akan bagi extra mark lah, because you are reading my book. And some people don't want to buy book. Dia suka attach. Kedekut kan.
Doctor,
Kedekut tak tempat kat dunia lah.
Doctor, I want to ask, is it our assignment all should be handwritten?
Handwritten. Sorry ya. Your assignment need to be handwritten. Bukan type ya. Okay, lupa. Bagus soalan tu. So from time to time you practice writing. Like my time in UK lah kan. UK, dia kena write. Dia tak ada type. During final exam pun kena write. Different as compared to other subject lah. Ada subject maybe taught by other officers, lecturers, they got writing semua sekali. And then they have the apa style and so on. That one is different. But my paper need to be handwritten. That's why tak perlu panjang-panjang. 2.5 pages only for 5. If you give more, better lah. Kalau 2.5 pages, half pages per question, I think enough already for you to. And then this one is considered one question. One question out of 7 questions, 7 or 10 questions as required for you to answer during the final examination. Please take note. Ini one question ni. Even one question got 1 A, B, C, D, E. Macam tu sama. Question number 2, 1 A, B, C, D, E. Question number 3, A, B, C, D, E. Jadi every sub question A ni dia half pages. At least minimum half page. Half page ya. Understand? Any question?
Doctor, so kita tak payah letak reference lah kan if
Tak
handwriting?
payah. Tapi kalau you nak ambil for example reference daripada mana-mana pun boleh juga you letak mana reference kan. Kalau you based on my book tak payah letak. Tapi I encourage you lah, maybe my study, my book is not that complete as required. Maybe you refer to Google or what, you dapatkan buku ni, refer. Buat references bawah itu. If references tu refer to this book, ikut apa style tulis buku, tulis itu APA lah. Reference tulis APA. Bawah tu lah. Okay. Tapi handwritten lah. Ya, handwritten. Punya statement.
Doctor,
Oh, ada question? Ya.
Doctor, how
Ya,
about the
silakan.
plagiarism for all the assessment and final exam?
Tak ada plagiarism. You tulis tangan. You tiru kat luar pun tak boleh dapat plagiarism. Plagiarism ni, when you type it and cut and paste, that one is plagiarism. If you written hand, tak ada plagiar. You just put reference there. Understand? Ya. Semua essay. Tak ada objektif.
Doctor, Regarding just now, you mentioned about the references. So maybe for example, I can put my reference in my content, is it? So I no need to have a extra page to list all the reference down. Is that okay?
Can't hear? I can't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. All right. Regarding just now the APS style references, so we no need to have extra pages to list all the reference down. We can
Yeah,
just
yeah.
put it
Yeah, yeah.
inside in our content like that lah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
see. I see. All right. Thank you,
Can.
doctor.
Good. Okay. We have maximum participant today, 98. 5 orang tak datang saja. Siapa? Okay. So I think that's all for today, class. If anything that you still blur, any question, you can post straight away to the WhatsApp group, yeah? Never mind, don't worry and then don't be shy. Don't be shy. You can WhatsApp group apa-apa pun, so we can share together with other student. Okay, for those you cannot scan today, please WhatsApp your name in the groups. So I got time tonight, I can key in. Okay? Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi